great show lined up for you. Here's your host, Rocket.
Hello, and welcome, salutations, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the day finds you, and welcome to the Rocket Radio Show. This is your host, Rocket, and coming at you live, and I have my co-host today, the beautiful Samantha Stanley. How you doing, girl?
Doing great, Rocket.
Listen, I wanted to put together a show today because, as you know, Sam, how you doing?
I've been great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Nah, no problem. It's part of the union contract. I don't know if you're aware, but we're going to be launching a live call-in talk show here pretty quick. We are currently working on laying the foundations for that incredible entertainment device known as the Rocket Radio Show call-in talk show, where you could actually call in and talk.
Hence the clever name.
Hence the clever name. Now, you know, for the last few days, you and I, after the follow-up from the Breaking Bad marathon, which we really liked.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So we decided we would move on to we'd move on to The Sopranos.
Correct.
Now, they have a lot more shows.
Yeah, 28 discs.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff on The Sopranos. And I don't know if you noticed, Sam, because I know you've been being busy, but I've done a couple of shows. But I really did a show I think yesterday or the last time I did a show, on this guy, David Pakman.
Yeah.
You looked up his show, right?
I did.
Okay. Back to The Sopranos and how this ties in. Now, I want you to know I've peeked into the future a little bit on The Sopranos.
Yeah, I'm
not
happy
to get the
about
storyline going.
I'm not happy about that.
But at some point in The Sopranos, they figure out that Vito, who was previously Gino in the very beginning, but anyway, Vito, who works for them, he's a maid guy, is secretly gay. He gets busted wearing a leather chaps outfit. Now, this gets back to the mob. This gets back to Tony and the boys at Bada Bing's in the back room. When they first hear about it from Christopher, he tells them that Vito, or whoever they hear it from, that Vito is gay, right? And there were a lot of reactions around the room in the clip that I saw, and there were comments below, and some people said it was classic, the look on Paulie's face when they told, because Paulie was like, oh, beat him! Homophobia, right?
Right.
Immediately. Macho homophobia, old Italian style. But there were other guys in the room, they don't care.
To each his own.
Exactly. And the reason why is, usually I believe that stable, straight men that are truly straight, they don't really care about the gay issue.
Okay.
They don't care. They don't care. It's the guys that yell and scream a lot is the stereotype, and I hear this bantered around quite a bit from the gay crowd, is that guys that are saying anything about it, if they're homophobe, they're a secret homo.
Right.
Homophobe.
I've heard that.
Exactly. So, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that because my gut inclination is I really don't care. I don't care. But part of my job as being a social commenter and doing a truther channel is to call it how I see it. And I believe there's a secret conspiracy, Sam.
What kind of
It's
conspiracy?
horrible.
A gay conspiracy?
No. And in fact, I find it interesting how the powers that be, right, the walking man, referred to as the devil, whoever the gremlins, whoever they are, whether it's the Illuminati, the New World Order, or commies, you know what I mean? Communist bastards with their Communist Manifesto. Whoever's orchestrating the media is also orchestrating every frickin' thing that we see on the TV screen.
Right. You were actually trying to explain this to me earlier where that somebody comes out with something controversial and they are also constructing the retort.
Correct. This whole, and I got a couple of topics I want to talk about, Alex Jones. This covers a lot of ground, but essentially what I wanted to say was, what is it that I was just saying?
that you wanted to cover a lot of ground. Alex Jones.
Well, that's not helpful.
Oh,
yeah. The Sopranos.
Oh.
I thought that the guy David Chase, who wrote the Sopranos series with a couple of other writers, somebody had mentioned the looks on the guys' faces when they were told they were gay, and he said that the truly straight characters of the show had a neutral reaction, and straight guys just don't care. And I've done a show specifically criticizing what I think is the gay mafia, that David Pakman show. I sort of stumbled across him because he was bashing gun nuts. And, I got to try to show the audience what exactly the guy's saying. But, he's calling a BB gun a gun, and then showing a guy with this horrible picture. It's propaganda. I'm going to get back to that at the very end. That has to do with that Navy comment, but we're going to get to that. So this David Pakman, you looked it up, right?
I did.
Okay, you had never seen it before.
No.
First impressions.
He's gay.
Okay, so he's gay.
But he also has a very gay agenda.
It's a gay agenda completely, right?
Tea Party guy looks like he's an AIDS victim. He talks about openly gay athletes. He talks about religion is the anti-gay policy. Gay marriage bans, gay death penalty, gays under siege in Uganda, men having sex with cows. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Okay, so here's my point. Who counters that? How do you counter that? They got the argument so squeezed down tight, these New World Order eyeball at the top of the pyramid characters that are actually controlling the debate in America and around the world. They got it set up. If you say anything, you're either gay yourself, you're homophobe. It's hate speech and homophobia. No criticism whatsoever. Agenda, move forward. I'm surprised, too, when I see gay activists. They're usually part of 3 or 4 organizations. They're proud to protest. And I get that. The civil rights movement. I get it. But when does it end? And, you got this guy. Like this guy here. What he's doing right now is he's got a... Can you see that, Sam?
I see it.
He's got a dildo for a microphone, and he's sticking it in the guy's face. It's funny. But it's not funny. It's perverted. I wouldn't want my little granddaughter seeing that out on the street. There's kids there yelling death to fags. And this gay guy's up there mocking them to their face, basically. He's not really there as a journalist. It's cool. But he's got a black dildo for a microphone, and the people talking to him, they don't even realize. They're talking into a dick. It's funny, but is that the kind of world that we want? I'm not sure I want. And then here's another thing. I'll tell you, gay people. I thought about this the other day. I lived and grew up near the Bay Area. And through the gay movement, you know what my problem? One of my problems is, I don't mind gay people. I realized this. I got exposed to gay pride parades.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, I thought they were cool. I'm not gay. But it was like party. It was like Rome. It was like Sodom and Gomorrah. Just do acid and drink and, straights were out there. It was just a big party and gay people were fun and they dressed all crazy with penises hanging out of their strap-ons out in public and dancing during the gay party. Anything goes. And at the time as a teenager, a straight teenager, I thought it was, Mardi Gras. But there became a point where it was just it never could stop. There would never be a stopping point. And now that I'm older and more conservative and a right-wing wacko, I don't want my kids exposed to that. I don't want some guy at a school questioning my grandson when he's 5 years old about his sexuality. Are there any shows on YouTube that are based on anti-gay propaganda? Because clearly, am I wrong? Or is this guy David Pakman show clearly a pro-gay channel, right?
Totally.
So where's the anti-gay message to balance these things out? That's how fairness works. Fairness and equality. And, I hear a lot of nasty shit. Look at an example. Let's just say, Sam, that a guy doesn't like gay guys. Says he hates fags. It's insulting. It's offensive. You know what the remarks are? He should be killed. He's mentally ill. They did a show on there saying how the people who were bigoted against homosexuals die sooner, 2 years sooner than the average person. So bigotry can kill you. That's an extrapolation and a veiled attempt to make bigotry, thereby hate speech, hate thought, and illness. The next thing you know, if you're a Christian, white, straight male, you're going to be being herded off into a fucking oven. It's really true. There's no end to the goalpost. It's not about equality, it's about privilege. And I see that down in the pro-gay comments too, like, we're going to get our civil rights, we're going to get federal benefits. Benefits. Ha 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 ha! I mean, geez,
yeah,
wow.
I gotta get mine. Yeah.
Wow. And you got a lot of people across the heartland of America, Sam, older people that don't care. They don't want to pay for some chick's birth control. Me and you don't have kids together as a couple, as a married couple.
Correct.
I don't care about the frickin' school. I don't want to pay for the school. Let the people educate their own children. Why do I gotta pay for that shit? Not to mention, since you and I are in a monogamous relationship and we've made that commitment together and we follow that discipline together, why do we have to pay for birth control and abortions for some lady so that she can have sex? Because that's what it's really all about. If she doesn't have sex, no problem, but she's having sex. We need to prevent unwanted childbirth. You and we will pay for that.
I know. We're
going to pay, and if she does get pregnant, no problem. We'll just do a quickie infant murder and yank that kid out of there, and we'll pay for that. But that's not our choices as middle America.
No.
The other thing about the abortion thing that really gets me riled up, I told you this the other day. If you look at pictures, the most disgusting, vile pictures. See, Rocket, I'm blazing the trail for you guys.
When I was in college in the 70s, the big social concern then was world overpopulation behind closed doors, was the propagation of the idea that the U.S. and the world needs to encourage people to become gay.
If you look at the most disgusting, vile pictures of the infants, the zygotes, the little embryos that are yanked out of the womb, if you just Google aborted infants, right, there's all these pictures, and a lot of them, they're dismembered, because that's what they do to get them out of there. And if you look at the little parts and pieces of the little dead babies, they're fucking human beings. They're little hands, little feet, little faces.
The pieces of the body are torn away, one by one, until finally all that remains are shards of the body and the head itself. The head will be too large to put through this instrument itself. This will necessitate the introduction of this instrument, called a hollow forceps, into the uterus through the already dilated cervix, and the abortionist will then attempt to grasp the free-floating head of the child in the uterus between the rings of this instrument. The head is then crushed, the contents of the head removed, and finally the bones of the head. And the abortion is then effective.
Bullshit. Those are not little fish. Those are not little protoplasms of jelly. It's not a little squiggle of mayonnaise look. No, it's a fucking pink little person with feet and fingernails and head and a face with a fucking pair of scissors jammed in the back of the neck. It's vile. It's fucking vile. But that's okay. So, back to the Sopranos and the people's reaction to gay stuff. I just wanted to point that out, but I don't really freaking care. But I want to make social commentary because people need to point out the propaganda. For an example, now I also asked you to look up the Young Turks.
I did.
Did you notice that all this guy, David, what's his name? David Pakman. David Pakman. And the little guy with him. What the hell? God, it's like me and my bottom on the show. I guess. I don't know. Sometimes you're on top. You're